The expectation is, after a second straight Jayden Daniels start, that he will be named the starting quarterback for the Commanders going into the season once and for all. I believe the press conference is beginning right now. So let's get out to Ashburn and Dan Quinn.
There, Adam and I were most excited about watching how he would, and the how has been absolutely outstanding. He went through the whole thing. He didn't miss a beat, hit the targets that, we had put in front of him. We talked about the practices against the other teams, the games. So he's ready, and he's earned the right to do that. He's really put in the work while being surrounded by some excellent teammates here. And in that case, I wanted to make sure I singled one of them out. In a perfect scenario, a young QB would, have a leader to also learn from, but perfect rarely happens. But we do have that in Marcus Mariota, and him sharing 9 years of gold with Jayden, I think, has been something that's really cool for us to see. Rookie QBs usually don't get that, and we do. And when QB rooms are special, that energy can be felt throughout an entire team, and we have that. So really cool to say. So apologies for having you come up with new storylines for today, but Jayden Daniels is our starting quarterback. Drop the mic, Chick.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, of course you didn't. Yeah. You're pressuring me so much over the last few weeks. I felt it was time to promptly tell you I'd know, you'd know, he'd know.
If we can go back to the kicking situation, no, I'm just kidding.
What a buzzkill that John is, huh?
With Jayden, you talk about the check marks along the way. What did you learn maybe even in the last week that just kind of said, okay, he's for sure ready, let's go?
I think the practice before we left to go down to Miami was the best one I had seen from him on the Tuesday prior to us leaving that Wednesday. The command of it, the accuracy, the details of it, that was one of the best practices I'd seen him have, was the best practice I'd seen him have. And so I think that was more in line with, who he is, what he does, the checks, the calls, the communication, the delivery of the ball. He was just really on point. So it was just cool to see all of that, come to life.
Has anything about this surprised you about where he's at in his development?
It didn't surprise me. We knew we would get here, but we were just excited to see how we would. And so seeing him hit all the spots, this is a rare competitor. And those are the things that I knew about him, but seeing it in your own building, on your own team, around new teammates, that was cool to see. And so he's just, had a remarkable start to things here. He's earned the respect of teammates and coaches and people inside of the building. And he's very, thankful to be part of a, group that, with the quarterback and the coaches and, helping him get ready. That's a big deal too.
Grant and Danny on the Fan. You're listening live to Dan Quinn. He just named Jayden Daniels officially the Commanders' starting quarterback.
Like, here's my potential hiccup for starting a rookie or for having a rookie off the bat. I'm curious, what was that? And then how did Jayden address that, make you feel, yeah, we're good here?
Yeah, I think first thing you want to do is make sure that you had some things in place, before the player arrived. And so we did some things offensive line wise on the interior to make sure of that. Obviously like adding a tight end like Zach, having a run game, that you would add to it. All of those things, were part of the design prior to even Jayden being here. But the added element that he's brought, the confidence, the swagger that he plays with, the details that he has, all of those things are what you'd hope to see. And that's why I just thought it was best to go through the process and get through all of the steps and then, do that. But without having to do that, our whole program is going to be based on competition. And so I felt best to go through the whole competition before, making any big statements.
And in this last game, he's out there for 2 series. You guys are currently playing up tempo, different receiver groups. What were for you guys the main goal to get him comfortable for what's to come? What was the main goal for how you chose to show your offense in that game?
Well, I think it was going to be a different system. So we had it's pretty awesome. We got a new field out here. You can probably hear the lawnmower going, man. That's a big deal. But going back into the game, Ben, different system. So you'd see some more pressures, getting in and out of calls. You probably saw some quick game and throw some of the bubbles to go. So when to get in and out of plays, that would be where the test would take place on this particular game. And getting in and out of plays based on different looks, that was part of it for sure.
You mentioned this is something you wanted since you thought about since you were a kid. You know, talked before about the sign above your bedroom door. I mean, to think about that it actually is happening. I mean, just how wild is it to really, you know, still have a long way to go to fulfill all your dreams, I'm sure, but to have gotten to that point.
It's just a real moment. It's nothing but God. I want to be here in this position without him. So big ups to the man upstairs.
Knowing it's going to happen, the fact that it does, still, it's when a coach, and he shared with us that in the quarterback room, after asking about the process and pregame and stuff like that, he said, "You're going to be the guy." When you hear those words, immediately what hits you?
Just joy and happiness, to be able, like I said, to live out a dream that I dreamt about. But also, man, it's just I couldn't be here without anybody. Like, I couldn't do it on my own, like family, support system, the organization here, Mr. Harris and all of them for drafting me, and even the people in the quarterback room. I mean, shout out to Marcus for taking me under his wing and being a great mentor. Jeff Driscoll, man, they looking out for me and helping me out a lot.
He also talked about the culture of this team. We've seen guys, you know, beat up Tresway after a tackle. We saw you jump up and down at the end of the game when Trace McSorley, of all people, almost led a game-tying drive. What's, for you, that vibe of your teammates is what?
We enjoy being around each other. I mean, that's the camaraderie that we're building in the locker room. Be able to go out there and see each other have success and want success for each other. It's big in the locker room. It's a brotherhood that we love each other. We want the best for each other. We're going to push each other.
Jayden, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
Coach
you.
Quinn just said, you don't have to put on a cape. You don't have to be necessarily a big leader in that locker room. Has that been a challenging mentality for you to have, and how have you kind of earned the trust of your teammates without necessarily being a leader?
I mean, I just say I'm a rookie, so I got to come out here and prove it. What I did in college doesn't matter. There's guys that's been in this league that are proven. So for me, it's just knowing my role. They weren't looking at me because I got drafted where I got drafted to come here and be a leader. We got great veterans around. And like I said, even Marcus, for him be able to go out there and take me under his wing, help mold me to be prepared, stuff like that, giving me pointers after plays, or, you know, we might see this look, you might have to do this and stuff like that. So we got great veterans around.
So you get named starting quarterback. Who was the first call, FaceTime, text message? Who'd you hit up right away?
Really nobody. I mean, I had meetings, so I couldn't do all that. But I'm pretty sure my phone is blowing up right now.
Jayden, good afternoon and congratulations to you.
Appreciate it.
Dan Quinn said that you were an amazing teammate. That's a paraphrase, not a direct quote, but high praise for you as a teammate so far in your rookie season. How much does it mean that what you're trying to do as a group is being noticed?
It means a lot. I mean, I want to be remembered for the person I am, not just what I did on the football field. So be able to be good and kind to my teammates, you know, show them that I care for them and I'm always here for them. It means a lot.
And then clearly, you know, there's also talk about Mike Sanders still being a very mature presence on the team, Luke McCaffrey and his professionalism, and kind of the conversations go on. How much does it mean for you guys as the younger group of commanders come in here to have that presence to help build the team forward?
Yeah, I mean, we want to come in here. We just want to put our head down and go to work. We got to earn our role. We got to earn everything that comes. Nothing's going to be given to us just because we got drafted. There's guys that's been proven in this league, like I said before. And, you know, for us, it's like we're going to take that approach. Our whole class, man, we're just going out there. We're going to work. We don't really have too much to say. You know, we're just going to show it on the field.
Hey there, Jayden, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Can you share a bit of about what you're building with offensive coordinator, Coach Cliff Kingsbury?
I mean, kind of just a sample size of how he's calling plays throughout these preseason games. You know, you want to get the ball in our playmakers' hands as fast as possible. You know, take the shots when it's there, and be very good in the run game. We want to be physical up front. I feel like that's what we're showing. It's just a little sample size, and we got to keep building on from that.
Hey, Jayden, the NFL is obviously such a demanding league, but at the same time, this is something you've waited for your entire life. So are you planning on taking the moment to really appreciate the significance of this, or is it more just like a let's get back to work thing?
No, I mean, you got to enjoy every moment possible because you never know when it could be your last. So you got to enjoy every moment. And then later on, I mean, tomorrow we'll be back to work. We got to get back to work. We got to focus on this last preseason game and go from there.
Did you pretend to act surprised when he told you?
If I didn't pretend, like I said, nothing's given in this world. So Marcus is a great vet for me, and for not even for me, but for Sam Hartman also. Man, he looks out for us. Everybody in that room looks out for each other. So, when they told me, I was really surprised because I didn't know what I was getting talked to about. I thought he was going to talk to me about my routine from this past game again. So it was a surprise to me.
Is there any part of you where it is a relief just to get that out of the way and move on, just to, everybody knows? I mean, not that there was much doubt before, but just to hear it publicly, is that any sort of relief for you?
I mean, not really. It's like more excitement and joy. It wasn't like a relief, like, oh, okay, I'm going to still take the same approach every day to get better. And that's what we preach, especially in the quarterback room. We got to get better each and every day.
Dan Quinn making the long-anticipated announcement. Not a particularly well-kept secret, but one that dragged out until the 19th day of August. Here is your list, Danny, of week 1 starting quarterbacks for the Commanders year by year, dating back to the last time that they had a quarterback start for a second straight season in week 1. 2017, the final year of Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
2018, Alex Smith. 2019, Case Keenum. 2020, the pandemic season, Dwayne Haskins. 2021, Ryan Fitzpatrick. 2022, Carson Wentz. 2023, Sam Howell. And now in 2024, Jayden Daniels. 8 straight seasons with a different week 1 starting quarterback. And hopefully for this organization, Josh Harris, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, all the way on down. And for every fan listening, Washington has finally found its guy. And this run, this search is over.
Yeah, Green Bay, 3 in 30 years. Washington, 8 in 8 years, or whatever it is, 7 and 7, 8 and 8, I guess. I was talking to a buddy this morning, first day of school, by the way, dropping the kids off. We're walking back. And, he's excited about Daniels, et cetera. And I said, my bar is so low. I obviously want Daniels to be great. I like Daniels. I'm a fan of Jayden Daniels. He's the starter. I'm excited about it. I want the same starting quarterback for 2 straight seasons. And we'll go from there. Let's do that for a minute. Let's get to that point where we're good enough this year, talking about Daniels and company, where there's no question he's the starting quarterback in week 1 next season. Then we can ask about the next thing, about winning enough games to, say, win a division or be competitive for an extended period of time, or things like the Pro Bowl as a quarterback. I'll settle for my starter for 2 straight seasons, and then we'll go on.
I'm just glad they made the announcement.
Yes.
And this is over, whatever this was. So now we can move along and not have to talk about that anymore. The big question, other than is Jayden Daniels going to be the starting quarterback going into that press conference today, has been, is he going to play in the preseason finale? I just don't expect that.
You wouldn't think so, right?
It's not the way that seemingly, certainly Washington, different groups, but has operated, most teams operate, to use that third preseason game for starters. And after playing him the majority of the first quarter in the second game, giving him 2 lengthy drives, I just get the vibe that he's not going to play in the third preseason game. I was also told when I had heard that Trace McSorley was being added to start, or to play rather, in Miami, and to then play extensively maybe in the final preseason game if they're not going to be playing a lot of the veterans. That was kind of one of the things they were kicking around.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe with the Mariota injury, they readdressed that. I would certainly play him in the final preseason game, but they don't value these exhibition games to the same extent, it seems like, that I would, which is to say, call me Andy Reid, I like playing football to get ready for football. But a lot of teams just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, and they'll have presumably some practices that'll help get him ready this week, and then you don't have to worry about playing him in the preseason game against the Patriots. Obviously, no joint practices this week, which are a big deal. But They did get him 2 joint practices total.
Mhm.
I mean, if that's all it takes to get a guy ready for the year, okay, great. But the more you get to see of him, the better. There's still a lot of things I'd like to see them ask him to do. But man, has he been sharp, which we'll get into.
He absolutely has. Yeah, I understand not playing someone in the third preseason game, or whatever the final one is. Used to be 4, now it's 3. Because it means you have to play McLaurin. It means you have to play every veteran offensive lineman and running back and everybody else. You have to do that to A, protect him, but B, give him the best possible looks. So I can understand the league trend.
I think you would have to play your O-line.
Yep.
I don't think you would have to play Terry, who's really the only of the receivers that's above reproach anyway.
I was going to say,
on this depth chart, that's not like they have other guys. But I don't think there'd be any issue with playing a De'Ami Brown who has earned nothing, right? Or Jahan Dotson, who seems to be now transitioning into the slot, and they've got questions about his role on the team, although Dan Quinn clarified some of his comments on the wide receiver room, which we'll get into later in the show. But I don't think they would have to play Ertz or Eckler and Robinson. I think you could put Jayden Daniels out there with some secondary skill guys, and that's no harm, no foul to me. To still, they have not really had him do a legitimate traditional drop back, hold the ball, read a field yet. We have not seen that. Everything's been quick game, decisive, kind of determined pre-snap. I'd like to see that before he's got to do it against a confusing coverage in week 1 that Todd Bowles is throwing at him. But I will agree that you've got to have your best offensive lineman on the field protecting him. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, so 6 1 half dozen the other. I would say if he's going to be out there, I would need everybody the best I've got to give him the best
no
looks.
problem with that either. Go play football.
But yeah, so I understand the trend line is not to risk all those different guys, and that's where the whole league is. Pretty much save a coach or two. But bottom line is this sort of weird game that. And listen, it's weird for us on the outside. Everyone's always got a gimmick or something, right? Every team's got a T-shirt or a slogan or a catchphrase or something that's painted up on the wall this year. Our theme this year is show up. Our theme this year is ride it out. Our theme this year is take a punch. Whatever the thing is,
take a punch is not a good theme.
But it just doesn't matter. You take a punch, keep rolling. Whatever.
That would be a great theme for like a terrible team.
Just take a punch.
Like if the New England Patriots walk into the building,
get beat
on Monday. And their brand new first-year head coach has painted on the board in the locker room, take a punch. Just knowing that you're going to get destroyed.
Just no context.
Let's go down with some dignity.
But they always have that kind of stuff. So it seems hokey to us on the outside with our mission statements and normal meetings and things that could have been an email. But, inside professional sports locker rooms, it's sort of a different game. So they do this big illusion, this song and dance. It's like, it's a competition. Believe us. It totally is. It's not. Never was. He's the dude. Please and thank you.
Also, all of these benchmarks that were necessary, no, they weren't. Like the idea of, well, we wanted to see this. Cool. Name him the starter and then see that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He was never not going to start. If he didn't hit whatever those benchmarks were, he was still going to start. You would either just tell us he hit the benchmarks, or you behind the scenes, you'd go, damn, he's not hitting these benchmarks.
Yeah, I think the benchmark was before the third preseason game.
No, I'll tell
was
you
the time of the calendar.
The benchmark was he was available when you picked at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Sheehan tweeted something today like, Dan Quinn's talking. Do we think there's a chance he could name a starting quarterback today? Like, are we at a point where he could do that yet? And I responded to Kevin and I said, we were at that point on April 27th. Yes, he could name the starting quarterback today. It was never going to be Marcus Mariota. But we're putting that to bed. We're keeping it moving. A starting quarterback has been named, and it's Jayden Daniels who's going to be taking this Washington offense forward.